I just want to say welcome. This dinner may look really different than past years. We've been having an annual benefit dinner at Andina Restaurant for 15 years. And it's just been such an important part of our year to come together with supporters over such amazing food with a family that has supported us for so long. And last year, we didn't have a virtual benefit dinner. It was in the middle of the pandemic was just starting. Yet we had an amazing kind of virtual experience with Mama Doris, who's the founder of Andina Restaurant, shared her ceviche recipe. Many of you participated in our ceviche challenge. We ate ceviche at home together and shared videos and stories. And so we really wanted to find a way tonight to bring people together over food. In preparation for this event, I was looking at quotes or just trying to find inspiration around that connection that we have for food. And I found this amazing quote from Dominique Crenn, a chef in San Francisco. And it was in relation to talking about, the supply chain with food and how chefs at some of the finest restaurants should care about where the food or the produce or the things that they're coming from, their ingredients, where they come from, how they're grown and how they're processed, et cetera. And the chef says, equality is rarely on the menu at even the finest restaurants. The world is hungry for change. And when we decided to craft tonight's event, I felt like that was kind of it. The world is hungry for change. We're also hungry for connection. We want this food to honor our collaboration with Andina. We want to help you feel connected to the global community that we're all a part of. We're so fortunate to work with Vibrant Table. They did a wonderful job kind of crafting a custom Peruvian inspired meal for us. Also, a special thank you to Advanced Wealth Management for helping us make this event come together. The gifts that you all received are impossible because of them. I also want to thank Mount Hood Winery for those of you that requested wine. This is their Summit Red. It's a table wine. I actually personally love it, so I don't even have to pretend right now. They won a double gold award in the Northwest last year, and I think in 2016 they were actually voted Oregon's Winery of the Year. So while we're sure hope that you enjoy the food, we all know that sharing a meal is much more than food. Across the cultures and communities where green empowerment works, sharing a meal means connection, collaboration, sometimes grief, gratitude. Food brings us together. Food often tells a story about the land, the history of the people. And tonight, food brings us together. Sorry, a little distracted in there. Anyway, tonight food brings us together to share about green empowerment, to share with each other, because also green empowerment is about the people, and you are part of our people. Also tonight, advancing a more equitable world is on the menu. I want to acknowledge how hard this year has been for so many. One of the things I think has been hard is not having opportunities to sit together with family, friends, or even strangers to share a meal. For many of us, it feels unnatural. I was really honored to hear that so many folks did come together tonight with their friends at their homes that were vaccinated and they felt safe to do so. And I look forward to a time where we all get to be together again. But I'm also so grateful that in the meantime, we found this way to do it. We've adapted, both in our personal and professional lives. We've adapted across the globe. People are adapting. For green empowerment, we adapted quite a bit. The resiliency, creativity, and dedication across our organization, from community leaders who completed water systems with only video and text messaging support from our team, to partner organizations who navigated national, personal crises to continue to advance projects. Our global team has been so committed and determined despite the real setbacks of the last year. Our board, our associate board, and so many of our supporters, you guys stuck by us, invested in our work, and really helped make a difference. So this moment tonight is about celebrating where we've come and also celebrating and getting more support for where we're going. For those of you that are new to Green Empowerment, because I know we have some new folks, we're not going to do a whole overview of who we are and what we do, but just know we are a small but mighty organization. We work with local organizations across the globe, and we install community managed water and energy systems. While we focus a lot on the technology, and many of us like to nerd out quite a bit on the technology, and especially about matching the right technology solution to the needs on the ground. We believe that technology is a means to the end, it's not the end goal itself. So for Green Empowerment, our partners, the goal is communities who have agency over their resources, improved health and economic outcomes from access to clean water and energy, and systems in place to sustain these projects over time and own and drive their own development without continuous intervention from us or from the outside. So tonight we're going to go into some storytelling about projects, and I think sometimes that's the best way to talk about green empowerment is through the communities and the projects that we support. But before we dive into more storytelling, it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Anna Garwood. Anna is going to give a toast. Many of you know Anna. She's our beloved former executive director. She actually started at Green Empowerment first in the Portland office, and then she lived in Peru as our Latin America program coordinator before returning to the US and eventually leading Green Empowerment as the executive director. She's still an amazing friend to the organization. She's been a wonderful mentor and resource to me over the years, especially when I first started. And we're so grateful to have you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be invited back to speak, this time as an advocate and supporter of green empowerment. So when I opened the impact report recently, the first thing that I was struck by was the continuity of the projects and the partners. I mean, I opened the page and there's the solar panels in Burma. That's a project that one of the former Green Empowerment staff started 15 years ago and has continued to work with those same partners. And now I think there's probably dozens of clinics with panels. I know at the time I was thinking about how things have changed. We sent disposable cameras out with those teams because nobody had cell phones with cameras on them. And so to see now the high quality pictures that come back from the field, we didn't have Zoom back when that project even started. And so, yeah, it's just really been heartwarming to see the continuity of that project. Similarly, I saw a mention of Tony Bong, a partner in Borneo that Green Empowerment started working with probably 20 years ago, with some of the same people. Bonnie Lassambong, we're still Facebook friends. Also, of course, the Association of Rural Development Workers, Ben Linder in Nicaragua, of course, you know, part of the creation of Green Empowerment grew out of that same community, and it's amazing to see that Green Empowerment still works with the same people in Nicaragua as well as others. And so it really struck me just the Green Empowerment really valuing the authentic relationships, you know, year after year, really decade after decade. And also it made me think about how when the team finds a solution that works, like solar panels on clinics, piping clean water, that it doesn't, they replicate that and grow with that. And when there's a simple solution for a human need, there's no need to reinvent the wheel and, you know, chase the next shiny invention. So I really value that Green Empowerment has real clarity on the impact of their work. And at the same time, I was excited about the new developments, excited to see the new more in-country staff. That's something that started under my tenure. We hired the first person overseas, and now I'm really excited to see how that model has evolved. And some new projects. Personally, the chlorine dispenser was exciting to me. I know that's not, you know, talking about geeking out on technology, but just when you've seen the big tanks of water systems that are unchlorinated or really complicated dosing, which is probably not happening, it's really a simple solution that's going to have a big public health impact. And then last but not least, just that you're still working in Peru. I was excited to hear about the work with clinics, work with clean water. I'm still in touch with friends in Peru and just hearing about how COVID has shaken that country terribly. And so to know that Green Empowerment and the partners are working to strengthen the health infrastructure is really meaningful, especially at this time. So thank you so much for the continued work that you and your partners are doing, and thank you for having me here. And I'm proud to continue as a Green Empowerment advocate and supporter. So with that, let's raise a glass to the continued great work.
Thank you so much, Anna. It's just always awesome to reconnect with you. Anna and I had a chance to reconnect safely outside this summer with our young children. And it's just such an amazing example of, I think, the Green Empowerment family. So again, for those of you that are new, just know once you're in the family, you're in the family. So we hope you like us. Thank you. That toast also, I think, was so exciting for me because it's such a lovely segue into our next presenter, who is Caitlin Peak. Caitlin has actually been with Green Empowerment for over 11 years and is our program director. She also started as a fellow, I believe, first before rising up to be the Latin America program director, and now is our cross-organizational program director. She actually lived and worked with us for 8 years in Nicaragua before moving back to Portland in 2018. And so she uses all of that real project and kind of intimate experience on the ground to support our staff and our partners across the globe. So Caitlin's here to share a little bit more about current projects with us.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It's really wonderful to be here tonight. After a year working from my home here in Portland, I really miss seeing our supporters, our staff, our partners, and the communities that we work with. Throughout the pandemic, we've grown pretty savvy as an organization. As Anna mentioned, we've really leaned into what we're good at. We're not trying to innovate the next big thing. We're really trying to deliver on potable water and health outcomes for communities. This working in a virtual world has its challenges, but we've been, really successful. I can't imagine. I always joke that how different things are than even 10 years ago when I started, and how tools like WhatsApp have really changed how our ability to get work done. As Andrea alluded to, we have communities that are sending us pictures and videos that are working with technicians virtually and then just coming in for visits as feasible. And it's amazing that the work can continue in that way. It brings me a lot of joy to see that in our team. It's a really lovely reminder that Green Empowerment's global family really shows up. And we have been for more than 25 years, and we're bringing new people in with us. When I was preparing for tonight, I remember the last year, we were preparing and thinking about a trip to Peru, bringing a project tour with our board members and supporters like you. Andrea and I had such an amazing trip to Bolivia in 2019 that many of you attended with us, and we really were looking forward to doing a trip like that in Peru. So I am excited to be able to share some of the amazing projects and stories that really motivate me and have been inspiring to our team. As Anna mentioned briefly, Green Empowerment has been working to support energy access for health clinics in Peru since 2006. Across the globe, we've been working in Myanmar as well to bring electricity to very, very isolated clinics along the Thailand border for about the same amount of time. Last year, we began to advance these efforts into Uganda and have identified 12 health clinics that have unreliable electricity, and we're actively seeking the program funding to install solar on those clinics to improve health services to the refugee populations they work with. This is an ongoing and important effort that we're working with Medical Teams International. In the meantime, back in Peru, we've expanded our efforts. We've moved beyond just solar access for electricity, but really focusing on clean water access and sanitation. We have a current project that's delivering water and sanitation services to 10 clinics. Think about the importance of hand washing stations and imagine attending to patients or going into a clinic that didn't have hand washing available. Unfortunately, as Anna mentioned, Peru is one of the places in the world that's been so impacted by the coronavirus pandemic and continue to see a spike in cases. The outlook for widespread vaccine availability is really grim. So continuing to strengthen health infrastructure is critical. In addition to water and sanitation for health clinics, we have over 40 communities in Latin America that we're currently working on community scale water systems. All of our water systems are developed in collaboration with the local communities who set up the administrative committees. They're defining a tariff structure for the systems they use, and they maintain the funds to support the system, usually paying a local technician that's doing the kind of day-to-day operations and maintenance. Over the last years, we've talked about, communities are advancing on their projects. It's really emphasized for me and for our team the importance of our model and how local leadership, both with our partners and the communities, is really advancing the work. This approach is is why we are able to do the work we can do, and we were able to advance projects last year. And so it's really wonderful to be able to share that with you today and celebrate the good work and garner enthusiasm for doing even more. Now, as Green Empowerment has grown, we've really made sure to align our core values. And one of those for us, as mentioned, is local leadership. So in addition to working with local partners and community leaders, we aim to hire in-country nationals to represent Green Empowerment in their home countries. One of these incredible team members is Katia Diaz. Katia joined Green Empowerment last year as our Peru program coordinator. She's an environmental engineer by training. She's passionate about sustainability and rural community development. While you could imagine I could tell stories for hours and hours after doing this for 11 years. Starting out as a fellow, now as a program director, I'm really excited to share with you words directly from Katia.
For me, food is very important. I think that when you share some food to some friends, you are sharing something about your culture. There are one special dish, it's a Peruvian dish, it's ají de gallina. I think this is my favorite food. For me, it's like something that made me remember my family and my country. My name is Katia Diaz. I am Peru Program Coordinator in Green Empowerment. When I grew up in the Amazonia, in the Peruvian Amazon, I saw that there are so many people that doesn't have access to clean water. If you don't have access, you use the water that you have, even if it's not clean. And the consequences are disease, especially in children. One of our recent projects here in Peru is El Chorrillo. Well, the goal of that project was provide water systems to the families living there and teach people how they can clean that water to use and how to improve their hygiene. When I visit the rural communities there, people have access to little rivers. They have to walk for hours. They need to go again and again to use that water. When we build the infrastructure, it's possible that they can just open a tap and they have water inside the house. When I talked with a senior there, he started to cry. He said, I never had water inside of my house. Everything that for us that living in cities is normal, for them is like a privilege. So rural places feel that they are like forgotten, like nobody cares about them. So when we work in rural communities, even if there are like little projects, they feel like, okay, there is somebody that care about my health. When I talk with people the last year that I visit the project, they are not just happy because they have water inside the house. They are grateful because someone considered them for a project.
Gracias también por pensar en la necesidad que tenemos para que nuestros niños, nuestra familia puedan estar tomando agua limpia, agua sana.
One thing that Green Empowerment does is work close to people, work with communities. It's from local to global. I truly believe in sustainability. I think that if we can achieve sustainability for the projects, we have to work close with people. We have to work with communities, listen to them, what they need, what they want to improve their quality of life. This relationship with nature that sometimes in cities we forget how to do, for rural places, they know exactly how to do. It's good to know their knowledge. When they feel part of the project, now they are motivated to do more things, not just for their families, but for the community in general. Sometimes we feel that we have these small projects around the world in every country, even if it's like a little impact. We have an impact in people. And I think that this is very important. Even if it's for one family or if it's for 100 families, it's important.
I hope that video helps you see and feel the impact and importance of our work and your support. And for those of you that had the ají de gallina for dinner tonight, we did not plug that. Katia just said it was her favorite meal without realizing it was one of the options, which was just amazing. I just loved that. I think Katia is such a great representation and her storytelling from her own words, just about what this work means to so many communities, and just seeing, I hope, those leaders in their communities, that one woman who kind of has her fists up, like that is the power of this work, is helping build that agency in these communities. Also, as Katia highlighted in the video, many communities where we work feel forgotten. That really resonated with me when I saw this video for the first time in her interview. They feel maybe left behind by their own governments and by the world, and they lack the resources, but definitely not the will to improve their own lives. So tonight, we are asking that all of you be generous and help Green Empowerment support these communities and ones like them. I also want to recognize that we have a lot of problems here at home. It's been a hard year for people across the globe, that is true. But people living in the poorest parts of the world often lack very basic services and infrastructure, and their governments are often not positioned, for a lot of reasons that we could talk about around geopolitics for hours, to support these communities. And also, your dollar can go really far. At Green Empowerment, for every dollar given by an individual, we can match that 5 to 10 times with program funding. So we really rely on the individual supporters so we can kind of multiply and amplify those contributions. This last year has also really demonstrated to us that we are all connected globally. If we can raise up the livelihoods of the poorest in the world, we can incentivize development that doesn't destroy, but rather protects precious natural environments. Then we as a global community will be better positioned to thrive. I think that global connection, for some people, it makes them be scared or fearful of others. And for people that join the Green Empowerment family, it makes us want to do more together for a better world for all of us. To motivate you tonight, our amazing board of directors has pledged $35,000 to use as matching funds for your gifts. So help us achieve that. And to help our cause, a generous donor reached out to me just yesterday with an additional $15,000 gift to be used to match funds raised tonight. So if you weren't doing the math, that's $50,000 we have to match for gifts tonight. To give you an idea, we have about 100 guests attending tonight when I took out some of our staff and associate board members. So if each guest were to give about $500, we would secure that $50,000 match, which for Green Empowerment would be $100,000 to keep the momentum going that we took from 2020 into 2021. So it's amazing how generosity can multiply. As you may have already noticed, we were pretty sly and we slipped in one of these. I don't know if it will show up in my virtual background. Into each of your programs. It's a pre-stamped donation envelope from Green Empowerment. As you've probably come to know, for those of you that are new, or if those of you have been fans of ours for a long time, we're pretty grassroots about a lot of things. And so we're keeping it pretty old school tonight. We don't have a flashy, interface that you have to text or sign up for. But we do ask that you take a moment and open your donation envelope and put a contribution in there of whatever amount that you're able. And if you feel so inclined, we would love it if you wanted to share comments or donation amounts or encouragement in the chat box, just to kind of get people going tonight. This is where you sometimes miss that momentum and energy in the room. We hope that the glass of wine may have helped, but take a moment, open that envelope, talk to your neighbors, those of you sharing a meal together, and encourage people to donate. We will be collecting these donations, over the next week or so as they trickle in. And we'll actually keep the list updated on that match. So we'll send you guys an update hoping that we were able to get it. For those of you that are more tech savvy and prefer that, there is a link on the envelope, greenempowerment.org/donate, to make your contribution there.